Time for another project. Rebuilding the powder coat oven. Let me show you why. Alright, so originally this was a 4-foot, excuse the mess in my shed, by 3-foot deep shelving unit. You can see I got my lamps down there. And this is all about to get changed. So the bracket brace right there is what this is going to butt up to. So this is going to be just big enough for basically about an 18 to 20 inch wheel to fit in if I need to do something that big. I did have plans on powder coating an actual bike frame. I don't know if I'll be able to get it in there or not because it is a large bike frame. But for all intents and purposes, for what I'm doing for now, this is going to work just fine. So the brace right here, I'm going to weld that in place. And then that piece right there is going to become the door. I've got spare insulation to go on the outside of it. And it's wrapped in insulation all the way around itself. And then I'll get more up underneath around the lights. And then I have a heating element that I got, which is actually for a smoker. It's a handheld or 110 plug-in heating element. It's about the size of an oven one almost. That one's going to go in here as well. The question is, where do I decide to put it? So let me get this tack welded in place, and then we'll get back to you. So note to self: when welding, do not put the inside of your hand where the wire goes, because that is the end result. Yeah. Still move. Alright, so center bar is tacked in place. And that was where the culprit for my finger, because it burnt through. So the insulation's all up in there. Got the wiring. Now I gotta figure out where to put this little lovely, because it's got a handle. I'm guessing I'm gonna have to build a tray somewhere either here on the bottom or hanging from the top somehow for this thing to sit the way it's supposed to. Let me think about that when I get back to you. Alright, here's the solution I came up with. Since this heating element has a little bracket there, I'm going to push this through the side really. Oh, that fucker's still hot. So you can see it's got a little one bracket there. So I welded on a bracket. It sits up against the metal right there, up against the insulation. So it should beat back and give me enough heat right here in the front, which is mainly where I need it for the smaller stuff that I'm doing. Plus I've got this rack right there that I can hang stuff off of. This should work out rather nicely. So that was my solution. But you got to figure out what works for you. If I didn't have those lights in the bottom, I probably would have just built a pan right there on the bottom, laid this on the bottom, right here off the front, and probably one off the back. But I'm going to see how much heat I get out of it between the lights and that, and see what happens. According to theory, this one should heat up to around 600 or 700 degrees, so they say. So I think between that, lights, and the size of this oven, I should be able to get enough out of that to at least get to 400 degrees. And we're going to find out, and I'll let you know. So stand by. Well, allow me to update you. So, there it is. Got the bracket welded in place. I've got a bolt through it. Yep, kind of misstepped on that one. And there it is. She's fully in place. Now the big question is, how's she going to heat up? Let's find out. Well, I'm no expert, but for a simple grill starter, and I'm thinking I could be having an issue with it bouncing off of. There we go. Oh yeah. I'm going to venture to say we're going to do just fine. Just so there's no misconceptions, I've got that sucker cranked all the way up. I can already feel the heat coming out of there. This is ridiculous. Oh yeah, I got good heat coming all the way over here. So with those lights on, those lights there, that being on, I should easily be able to get 400 degrees out of this homemade oven. But we'll see. Okay, here we go. All insulated up, including the bottom. Right now I have just the light heating element lights. Basically they're just paint drying lights that I got off Amazon. So I'm kind of waiting to see what the oven's going to heat up to with just those. And then I'll turn on the other thing. So you can see that I put hinges on the doors. Or on the door, I should say. Yeah, I still got some insulation work to do, obviously. So I'll be losing a little bit of heat. So it's, I just turned this thing on. Ooh, I got fiberglass on my finger. I added a little bit of a clip on the corner there. Put some wire around it. So I gotta get some insulation for the top of that. Well, I can feel the heat coming out of there. So it's obviously insulated better. Just to show you. So there it is. Like I said, I don't have the other heating element on yet. I'm waiting to see what kind of temperature I'm going to get with just the lights. So I've got a baseline, so when I turn the other one on. So there it is, guys. I will let you know when I finally get up to heat and see where we're at. So 7 minutes in, we're just above 150 and it's just on the lights. So we'll wait till about the 10-minute mark, and then I'm going to crank up the other one. All right, quick update. Running both lamps and the heating element, no bueno. So I got that thing cranked all the way up. We are hovering around 175, and I just turned it on. So I blew the circuit with both lamps on and the heating element. So I just knocked it down to one lamp, which is the closest to what everything will be powder coating. And we'll see where we're at here momentarily. I don't know if you can see that or not. Let's see if I can find a flashlight and show you. Okay, there you go. So we were hovering around 175, so it's dropped down a little bit. Like I said, I just turned the other heating element on, and that one earlier was showing well over 600 degrees. So we'll see how quickly this thing climbs. Get back to you in another 10 minutes. Okay, another 10 minutes has gone by. I actually just opened it up and put a can in there, so the temperature dropped pretty quick. We were around 250. Well, maybe 225. It was pretty much right at the barbecue mark, but I just, like I said, I just opened the door to let the fan in, and then of course I got to replace that insulation still. So we'll take a temperature reading on the can here shortly and see where the can's at. And yeah, we're just gonna keep trucking along here until we get the results we want, I guess. All right, it's been almost 40 minutes. So let's see. The can's been in there for, I don't know, maybe 10, 15. Let's take a look. 224, 220, 230. The heating element showing for over 400. The lens from the heat lamp showing over 200. So this oven should be a hell of a lot hotter than what it is, but this thing is absolutely monstrous. So I'm guessing with only the one heating element in there, we're not doing too bad. Of course, I'd like to be able to run both lights, but I don't want to keep blowing the circuit either. So, the question remains, how do we really get this thing up around 400 degrees? So I'm thinking maybe another one of these. I got a couple toaster ovens laying around. Maybe I could put a couple of toaster oven elements in there. Just run a separate box with those. I don't know. But that's going to be another video for another day. So, alright guys. Well, there you go. There you have it. Oh yeah. And I just did this. I had some extra sheetrock laying around. And yeah, I realize it's not straight because nothing of it's put together yet. That actually goes a little bit deeper, but that's about the length that I need. I just got to go with what I've got on hand, and I got a small piece of sheet metal laying around that I can fit in there, so that's why I went with that size. And that's where I'll do all the powder coating. I'm going to have to put, once I get all this stuff out of the way, I'm going to put a fan on top of there with a regular household filter to suck up what I spray, so I'm not breathing it back. I mean, I could just use a respirator, but that stuff literally gets everywhere, so I don't want to get into that whole mess. So I'll bring you another powder coating video here shortly when I finally get one of the parts off my old car, and I do the bracket for that. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, I give you homemade powder coat oven. Gotta wait and see what we're gonna do. Till then, see you. Alright, well, in typical I can't wait fashion, I went and powder coated an old ground spike that I had laying around. So there it is. Let's see if we can get a reading on it. Maybe, if I can aim it correctly. It says 164, 217, 312 at the bottom. It's only saying 175 up top. Well, its time is up. So let me go ahead and shut the light off here. Oh yeah. So I took the sheetrock, finished that off. Just used tape around it. Still got to put the fan in up on top. I just covered it up now temporarily with aluminum foil. So just an Eastwood dual coat. Screwed it in with sheetrock screws. So we'll take this thing out of here. Get that out of the way. Open her up. Oh, there's the can. Let's see what the can looks like. I forgot about the can. Can says 132, 138, 142. What's the insulation say? 150. How about the insulation up top? What are we looking at there? Insulation up top, 200. 242. 225 in the back, 226. That's not too bad, I guess. And of course, as soon as you shine it on metal, you lose everything. And of course, I just shut that thing off, so we're already down to 126. So that temperature dropped pretty quick. So let's take this thing out of here. If I can do this without burning my own fingers off. Have a look at it. So it's got a nice little sheen to it. Wait for it to cool and we'll check it out. Nope, I guess I missed that part, huh? That's alright, it was just a test piece anyway. So, yeah, we'll just wait for it to cool and we'll see what it looks like. So, there you go, guys. You can cure something right around the 200 mark. I know everybody says you should get to around 400. I did finally get to 225 on this thermometer here. Again, I'm not 100% sure that thing was totally accurate. It's just drilled through and big ass probe sticking out of there. And again, like I said, couldn't run both lights. If I had run both lights, I probably could have gotten closer to 250, maybe even 300. But that was not the case. Unless, excuse me, maybe if I crank up my generator and run a separate circuit, I won't have to worry about blowing a circuit at that point. So there it is. It's a 3-piece shelving unit. The bottom's just sitting there. It's got my welder and tank and whatever else. And the sheetrock with the insulation, it was fine. There's no flame problems to it. Thinking I might want to insulate a little bit more around the top. So anyway, there you have it. If you want, drop a comment, like, whatever, if it works for you. Yeah, you know what? That actually looks like a pretty good coat. I mean, even for the temperature being what it was, it fully flowed. So we'll let that cool down before we try and play with it and get the feel on it. Other than that, if you guys have any questions as to how I built this thing or how I got the shelving unit or anything else, just hit me up, let me know. Until next time, see ya!